out there, and welcome to the Holy Hour podcast, the bi-weekly All Cure podcast. I'm Gavin. Thanks for joining me, and welcome back, or welcome for the first time. This is the first episode of the new season, maybe? I don't know. We call each year a season, but it's 2019 now. That futuristic sounding year, 2019. In the year 2019, we're still talking about The Cure, further proving the genius and longevity of this band. And we're happy to have you here, whatever the case. So welcome. I hope your holiday season wrapped up smoothly, and you are easing into the year 2019 with us. And we got a pretty easy, laid-back episode for you this time. It's just going to be me talking to you guys, nice and casual, but I wanted to have something on deck here for you guys. I'm doing a lot of traveling over the holidays, and was a little worried getting back in time to record or mix. Even if I managed to record something on my holiday travels, probably wouldn't have time to get back and edit it, the fancy editing job that I always do and deliver for you guys. I just wanted to make sure there was something on the plate for you, and we've been planning this one for a little bit. So we got a covers episode. Yeah, we've been doing a few of these since the start of this show, so this might be like the third or fourth one. We kind of take a different angle on it this time. This one's pretty chill and just a handful of covers, new and old. Some slipped by my radar, or I just never really gave full attention to. And just mostly recommended ones, though. Usually in the past, we've done compilations, we've done whatever's hit and misses throughout. But this one, I'm pretty much in favor of all these tracks. So just a few I wanted to throw your way, and I hope you enjoy some of them as well. But before we dive into the covers that we want to examine for this episode, there has been, we kind of tacked it on to the end of the last episode because it was in flux at the moment. But that one glorious day at the end or mid-December, where we heard that it was official, that The Cure has been inducted, or will be inducted, into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. A lot of mixed feelings on the nomination process as it was happening, but once it got official, I think everybody's on board with some level of excitement. Tickets are apparently going on sale in January, so it could be happening any day now, if not already. We're not quite in January yet. But so yeah, some of us might be trying to go to the ceremony. On first glance of Wave of News, it said that the induction ceremony, who knows, they'll probably only play like 5 songs or something, but I mean, how many times do you get the chance to see The Cure and Janet Jackson on the same bill? So who knows? Range anywhere from $90 to $2,000 from was the first wave of scoop that we've heard. So we're gonna try. I don't know. It might be fun to try to go up to New York and see this. But yeah. So more to come on that. I think we're gonna do a whole Rock and Roll Hall of Fame episode with Chaz and Donald, so we got that to look forward to, and so that'll be fun to hash out all the details on that and get everybody's opinion in 2 cents. And yeah, while all this was going down, we had like 2 main audio clips of Robert Smith and Roger talking about being inducted and what an honor it was, and they seemed genuinely, pleased and happy, but not through the roof, like they were expecting it, or it was a huge part of their hopes and dreams as a child was to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but they seem pleasantly, grateful. And but the more important little nuggets that were coming out was that work of a new album, and now it's being plastered all over social media, which is kind of hilarious. The way they kind of casually dropped that they're, working on something, and it just becomes this definitive statement all over social media now. The Cure's first new album in over a decade will come out in 2019. And I don't know. I think any Cure fan out there just kind of knows, don't totally put all of it in there until you have it in your hands. But, it sounds pretty damn promising to me. And they didn't sound too wishy-washy in what they're saying. I think the only real question is how far along is it really? Seemed to be a little bit of a mix in communication as far as Roger's comments kind of made it sound like the album was just getting into the thick of recording. Like they'd already done demos and they were going to really get in and record in February. which timeline-wise doesn't really leave them much space because in March they start playing in South Africa, and all the festivals slowly start creeping in. Maybe they could go back in April and really crank it out, but I mean that's like a month really of recording. That doesn't sound right. But then Robert's interview snippet, he made it sound more like they're finishing up, and so maybe it'll be all wrapped up right before these festivals, and then in the festivals they'll drop a few of these new tunes on us, and then they're hinting at some kind of North American tour in the fall, whether that be for the album or just for, I don't know, maybe a fallish kind of festival. I don't think so, but I don't know. So maybe it was something just to keep us satisfied, and then fall rolls around and we're like, hey, wait a minute. Kind of the same way we were with the summer festivals. No U.S. dates here, but we will get that induction to the Hall of Fame ceremony. So who knows? But it's all good news. Mixed in with all of that, again, the Tim Pope directed film, it sounded like Robert Smith was currently working on during the interview, of some kind of Hyde Park live show. So definitely made it sound like it was more of a video release kind of deal. Maybe they'll put it all out as an album and a CD and show style, but who knows? But that would be pretty rad. It seemed like a really great show, and it seemed like a pretty important one to document in the grand scheme of things. So why not? You know, not totally crazy about another live one, but at the same time, you know, you can't get picky. Would love to hear a really good quality version of that show, since I was not there, so that would be great. But moving on, so yeah, we got hopefully more information coming on all that stuff, but let's focus on the important shit, right? Like some random Cure covers, and just a few that I have selected for you guys, so maybe you can track these down on your own. I'll try to tell you where and what I know of each one, and we'll go from there. But let's get this thing rolling, right? You're always down for some Cure covers. I am. Alright, first on deck is one that has been mentioned in past covers episodes, but I wasn't able to get a hold of it for a while. It was a pretty tricky one to track down, but I finally was able to dig around and find some MP3s so I didn't have to subscribe to a vinyl subscription service or anything like that. The album I'm talking about is Frankie Rose, and Frankie Rose put out in 2017, so it's already a little old now, but a full album cover version of 17 Seconds. And one, pretty rad because she's awesome. Two, it's the full album, so that's cool. You gotta love that. Just like the Damnation AD one, where they did all pornography. How cool would it be to eventually have like a separate whole cover tribute album of every Cure album that you could listen to? There's a goal. There's a goal for 2020. Let's get it together, people. So yeah, I call Japanese Whisper. No. All right. So yeah, Frankie Rose. This thing came out on a weird kind of exclusive thing. That's why it was hard to track it down. It was through Turntable Kitchen, and what I've been able to piece together, it's like a vinyl subscription service where, and I don't know if all of it is that, but they do a series called Sounds Delicious, and what they do is they have bands cover full albums, put it out on vinyl, and they match it up with recipes that go well with the album. So yeah, this one, I'm not sure what the recipe was that you're supposed to eat while listening to Frankie Rose's 17 Seconds, but bottom line being, this covers album is pretty awesome, and I'm really into it. And as I dug around a little bit more, it did look like now at Turntable Kitchen you can just buy the vinyl, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's really it's like $25, $5 shipping. So that's cool, because I had a hell of a time trying to just find, like, there was a snippet of a forest going around for a while when she first put it out. But and if you're not familiar with Frankie Rose, Dum Dum Girls and Vivian Girls, she was in those bands. I think as an original member. I'm not really quite sure what role in each of those, but definitely both two solid bands that I've heard some great stuff from. So if you're down with those two, acts, you'd probably like Solo, Frankie Rose. But yeah, it's just super solid from start to finish. If anything, they kind of keep too similar to the feel of the actual album. And we've talked about that in past episodes of the danger spots of covering Cure songs. Is either you like kind of either do it too much like the Cure, and then it's kind of like, well, what's the point? You know, you might as well listen to the Cure version, or they try to just get really out there with it and change it up, and that gets dangerous because you're changing what's cool about the song. So what we narrowed it down to is that you want to keep it as similar as possible, but at the same time be able to add your own touch where it sounds like you can appreciate everything about the song that we love from the Cure, but at the same time, you know, add something new, the flavor, the taste, your own stamp, whatever you want to call it, of that artist that's covering it. So I think that's the ideal way. Some people love it when you just totally fucking pull the floor out of a cover and really rearrange it, but I don't know. I don't really need to hear a fucking reggae version of Never Enough or something, you know? I mean, it's like, wow, points for trying something different, but, you know, that's stupid. Don't do that. Or, you know, or you just totally rearrange the guitar parts into some other thing. It's like, that's not the song, though. That's great, you know? But, so that's where I think if you're going to do it, that's what you got to do. And this one definitely works. I feel like it leans towards a little too close because the music is like solid 17 seconds. They fucking nail it, like note for note, everything. But it doesn't sound like, to me, like I would rather just listen to 17 seconds because it's like, it feels a little more modernized, so it sounds like a modern band playing these songs, so that's cool. And the production's really cool in the studio where they really pay attention to details in the way of like all the cool little details of the 17 seconds production, the original. But so that's cool. Her vocals are really awesome, and that's kind of the huge takeaway, is that it's different enough because it has her cool vocals doing it. So I feel like that cuts the difference between, you know, it sounding too similar to the old ones. So it's kind of a new take on the classic album is what I would say. And the fact that the super deep cuts get like, you know, sounds like 3 and 17 seconds the song are done with just as much attention to the detail as like Play for Today and A Forest and stuff. So it's just cool hearing those songs covered because they're doing the full album. So I think that's where it really shines, as you get to hear all these like super obscure kind of Cure songs, you know, like Reflections, even shit that normally would never be covered on a, you know, just tribute compilation. So pretty cool. And I think this is like a great thing to try to track down. It would be a great gift for like a Cure diehard fan now that you can just order the vinyl at a fairly reasonable price. So yeah, if you fucked up at Christmas and or are just one of those unfortunate bastards that have like a birthday in January right after everyone's blown all their money on Christmas gifts, this would be a perfect gift for somebody out there, because chances are they probably don't have it, even if they're a pretty diehard Cure fan. And can't imagine a Cure fan not being pretty into this. So yeah, I think it's a good gift idea out there if anybody's fishing. And if you don't want to pay $30 for the vinyl, and you can't find it floating around digitally out there, just shoot me a message. I'll steer you in the right direction, but that's all I'll say. Wink, wink. So feel free to drop me an email. But yeah, so here's a little snippet of Frankie Rose, just nailing 17 seconds in my opinion. Up next is another one that I think very fondly of, and I think did a great job, and it's Luna, Fire in Cairo. This also came out in 2017. Somehow I just totally missed this one, which was weird because it's a covers album it's off of called Sentimental Education, and it's a full Luna covers album, and I love Luna. So yeah, I think I heard that it was like coming out, but then I just kind of lost track and didn't realize when it actually came out. So but yeah, it's great. I'm a big fan of Dean Wareham, I believe it's pronounced. Even if you don't realize it, you're probably a fan of him too. He's been in Galaxy 500, Luna, Dean and Britta. Have a few albums and EPs that I really love, all of which are great and amazing records. So you probably already have some Galaxy 500 shit in your head that you didn't even realize was him. And Luna too. There's so many good ones. Just has this very cool laid back style of his like guitar playing and vocals. It's no secret that they're big Velvet Underground fans. So there's a huge Velvet's feel to it, and you can't really go wrong with that. So yeah, if you're into any of that, definitely check out all of his other stuff and projects. But Fire in Cairo is another perfect example of nailing it. And that perfect Cure style that I prefer, where they kept it very true to the original, but the style of the band leads how it sounds. It sounds like a Luna song, but it's fucking Fire in Cairo. And yeah, so you hear everything that you love about Luna or anything Dean related pretty much, and is obviously just the awesome song of Fire in Cairo. So it's kind of cool. And it's just a great example of like picking a lesser known Cure song. And that doesn't happen often enough. Unfortunately, everyone wants to take one of the big hits or the big singles and, just so more people recognize it. But, when this happens, like I said, with the 17 Seconds one, it's just so cool as a Cure fan to hear like the lesser known songs get their kind of nod too, So yeah, even if you are a surface level kind of Cure fan, I think you could kind of really hear the light that's being cast onto this song and makes you realize what a great song Fire in Cairo is too. And he was quoted in saying that it was one of his, I think, if not the first Cure song he ever heard, and really just loved it from the start. So that's why I chose that one and wanted to not do an obvious Cure cover. Although, and we've talked about it in the past, there was like a Just Like Heaven, I think it was called, on American Laundromat Records, put out a tribute album of a whole bunch of different artists and some pretty well-known ones. But it was like not that great of a tribute because it was like all these artists I really like, but they kind of weren't really adding that stamp enough, I think. And it just kind of felt like, it's cool, but it's not so cool, and Dean and Britta actually did Friday I'm in Love for that. So kind of going back to what I was saying, and it was cool, but it wasn't like exceptional. Like this one I feel like is super cool just because it's a lesser known song, so that helps, but just the way the production feels more like a Luna song too. So I recommend this whole album, a Sentimental Education it's called, and more importantly just any original materials of Luna and Galaxy 500, Dean and Britta. Those Dean and Britta ones are really underrated. She's got a great voice. That's his wife and plays bass for Luna, and she actually does the voice for Jem too from the 80s cartoon, Jem, truly outrageous. So how fucking cool is that, right? I mean, you got Jem in your band. That should be an endorsement enough for you guys. So go find as much Luna stuff out there. But also this one, and I think it's pretty easy to find this. I think it's on iTunes and out there. So Sentimental Education. Here's a snippet of Luna doing Fire in Cairo.
See your head in the fading light. Through the dark, your eyes shine bright and burn like fire. Burn like fire in Cairo. Burn like fire. Burn like fire in Cairo. Shifting crimson veil, silken hips. Slide under my hand.
So yeah, fucking well done in my opinion. Way better than the Friday I'm in Love one, even though I do love Dean and Britta together. But speaking of Friday I'm in Love, two new covers recently emerged. Probably the newest ones of this batch that I wanted to tip awareness to. And the first one was just a random live show YouTube clip kind of thing that most Cure fans probably already got a notice on if you're on any kind of Cure social media out there, anything. The Smashing Pumpkins at a live show recently covered Friday I'm in Love, and it was James Iha singing it while Billy Corgan was changing costumes or something. Okay. But so yeah, it's cool. Musically it sounded great. It's hard to tell just from like a YouTube clip, but all the guitar parts are getting nailed and done justice. His voice never really sounds that great to me, but as far as it just being a fun song to play in their live set, that kind of cover, it sounded great. It was fun. And cool that Smashing Pumpkins would add that into their set list. As far as anything that they're ready to do a studio version of or anything, I'd probably not even. And I wouldn't be that crazy for it. But at the same time, pretty cool and worth checking out online if you get scooping around on YouTube. I think it should be out there. I'll put a link to it on our Facebook page. But yeah, so it sounded like they just cranked out Friday I'm in Love, and the fans went nuts, of course, because a lot of crossover there, I'm sure. So yeah, and I do think favorably of Friday I'm in Love, so I'm not one of those people that will hate it just because it's Friday I'm in Love. But once again, really, is that the song to cover though? And it's not even like a knock against the song Friday I'm in Love and its poppiness or anything. It's just kind of like, it's such an easy one to cover, where it's like, okay. And along those lines, again, apparently Spotify does an exclusive sessions, I guess, kind of, just something that you can get only on Spotify now. I don't know how long they've been doing that or what. But this is a super new one that came out just a couple of weeks ago. Well, at the time of recording this anyway. And it's hard to find unless you are on Spotify. So any of you subscribers are in luck. But otherwise, it might be a little tricky to find. You could probably find links just floating around from like Pitchfork or Stereo Gum or something. But Phoebe Bridgers has covered Friday I'm in Love for it. And it's an exclusive on this, along with her song Scott Street. And for what it's worth, I love it. I'm a huge fan of hers, so that's like 98% of it. And yeah, she's great. If you haven't heard her, I think she's just showing gigantic promise at the moment and getting lots of great press. Everyone seems to be on board with her last album, which I guess was 2017, Stranger in the Alps, which was really good. Just original stuff. And she's touring constantly. I think she's got a new EP, newish thing that she put out in 2018 as a side project with Julian Baker and another gal whose name is escaping me. But Boy Genius. It's pretty cool. So it's definitely in that vein. If you like her stuff, you'll probably like that. So all that's worth checking out. She tours constantly, like I was saying. Opened up for Bright Eyes or Conor Oberst a lot before her actual album came out. So maybe if anybody was at any of those shows, you already saw her. I saw her doing her own tour at a smaller venue here in Asheville, and it was amazing. It was definitely a super mellow set, but her voice is just fucking great, and the band was really tight too, so that was cool. So I totally recommend her solo or her actual material. Boy Genius stuff's pretty good, but I like her album. I can't wait to hear the next one. She's definitely shows a lot of promise, so hopefully she'll keep the momentum going. Yeah, total weirdo too. She's just like this kind of weird alien beautiful weirdo out there, but that kind of adds to the really cool charm, I think. And yeah, she can write a hell of a song, so pumped to see what she does. But back to the cover, Friday I'm in Love. It's annoying because I would have definitely liked to see her cover something other than Friday I'm in Love if she's gonna do a Cure song, just because she does have such a cool unique sound where it's pretty easy for anything she would cover to just have that checklist marked off of like has her sound to it, but she keeps it to the original. So yeah, it's good. It's slowed down, which usually can back and forth sometimes when you just take the song and slow it down. It's like, yeah, it's kind of the easy route, but at the same time, it's cool. I don't know. I think she did great with it. Like, she just didn't overdo it, didn't change it up too much, but just slowed it down and made it sound like one of her songs, more or less. Yeah, most Cure covers fall short, too, in the sense that, like, Robert Smith sings so passionately, and really puts his heart into it, even if it's a goofy pop song like Friday I'm in Love. It's hard to really sell it as good as he does or put the emotion into it the way he does. But yeah, I feel like, I'm convinced anyway, she really pours her soul into this cover and really nails it. So Friday's always such a hit or miss song with Cure fans anyway, that I feel like it could just be judged on that alone. But I think she's also the kind of artist that people either really love or just like, ugh, don't want to have anything to do with. So it could be one out there. Let me know what you people think. I don't know. I think people will really love it or just be like totally nope. So, but I am down. Here's a clip. Alright, in the immortal words of Fozzie the Bear, moving right along, our next one is getting away from the bigger name artist, and but staying in the vein of great Cure songs, but technically probably shouldn't be covered ever again. We have Love Song, and this one's by Byrd. And Byrd, I actually got a heads up on this song via Facebook page, and yeah, it wasn't by actual Brad Byrd, but I'm assuming somebody on his team or management, and they reached out to us, and I'm so glad that they did, because it's a really cool take on Love Song. It's very singer-songwritery again, so if you kind of hate that, then you might not dig it as much, but this time it's like a more male perspective singer-songwriter vibe going on, and it just does a really great job with like the string arrangements and the overall production, and as opposed to just, kind of doing like a solo acoustic version of it. There's a lot of cool like drum loops started out, and it merges into the actual beat, and like tons of cool just kind of curious layering going on, which creates a great atmosphere behind like some cool like guitar parts and vocals, and just really well done vocals. And yeah, I haven't had a chance to further investigate any of his original material or get what his full story is and such, but I definitely have it in the back of my head. When I get a minute, I would love to dig around and see what I can find, because I think I'd like this guy's original songs. So yeah, it's a tough one to find, so you'll have to probably go to our Facebook site, and I'll have a link for this direct one, and then we can all kind of go further searching from there, I guess. But yeah, I'd like to hear what you guys think on this one too, so leave a comment if you do go on over there, and let me know if it's too singer-songwritery for you, or if it's right up your alley. But again, Love Song, it's hard to really crank out something new to this song, but it's such a beautiful song. You can't fuck it up. Oh wait, actually you can. 311. Remember that, homeless? So yeah, further credit to you, Brad. Good job. You didn't make it a reggae, rock, whatever the fuck genre that was that is already dead and gone. So hey, good job. weirder one, getting away from the singer-songwritery vibe. And it's definitely not my style of music generally. I do kind of dig this heavier cover of "Homesick" by Rosetta. I've stumbled across. It came out in like 2009, so this is a pretty old one now. But yeah, I just didn't, it just popped up on some YouTube playlist or some shit, and I was like, oh, what is this? And again, I have no clue what the rest of the band's stuff sounds like. Don't think I'd be that into it just because of the style, but I kind of dug this one. Apparently, it was like one track on a split CD. Not quite sure how it was like officially released, but in the style of like a split 45 or something. There's 2 tracks from a band called East of the Wall, 2 tracks by one called Year of the Light, and then Rosetta had a Homesick cover at the end of it. And like I said, it's pretty heavy, but not sure if you'd call it like full-on hardcore or emo or what, for lack of genre terms. But yeah, it's like the piano part is replaced with like heavier guitars, and it's crunchier, but not like full throttle in that direction. So it's still very like recognizable as Homesick, but it's, kind of like they just up the level of intensity to it, and it kind of works surprisingly well. And yeah, it'd be cool to hear like the actual Cure play it like this, but with Robert's vocals, and especially around like the self-titled era when they're trying to get all Ross Robinsy dingus whatever, like that vein. I think it would work really good mixed in with that set if they played it like this. But definitely not a permanent change, but something kind of cool to hear and a different vibe. And the only part that loses me on this cover is like the second vocalist, I'm assuming. The second vocalist comes in and he's kind of doing that Cookie Monster shit in the background that hardcore stuff does. Just like, which, I know a lot of people love, so I know it's just a preference thing. But that mixed in with the semi-normal vocals from the main vocals just doesn't do it for me, especially by the end when he kind of takes over. I'd much rather the original guy just stick to it because he sings it pretty solid and, regular and not just full blasted. And just, I don't know, they could have left out the raw kind of vocals and just stuck with focusing on the crunchier guitars is enough, I think. And, but I mean, it's probably the whole band's style for their original material or other songs, so you can't really tell that guy to just not sing on this one. But at the same time, do you really have to include him? I mean, he's kind of like Enar, right? Or Fred Schneider. Sometimes you just got to chill the fuck out and stand in the back while the other people do it. But yeah, they definitely took it down a different path, which is cool. So points for that, and but still stuck to the structure of the song, and like I said, made it recognizable as Homesick. It would be curious to see what Chaz and Donald think of this one, since they are definitely more in favor of this style of music. Not sure if there's other red flags that would tip this off as cheesy or what, but yeah, I'll stick with my slow jams. But I'd like to wonder what those guys would think of this harder, edgier version of Homesick. So I don't know, this shit just makes me anxious though, so I can't praise it too much, but I like that it's different. So here's a snippet to show you what I'm talking about. Next up, I thought I'd recommend one in the complete opposite direction. No Cookie Monster here. No vocals at all, actually. And this was just a total YouTube find. And it's Viktoriya, and I'm going to butcher the last name, Yermolyeva. Viktoriya, I think she goes by Vika. The web YouTube site is vkgoeswild. I'm not sure if that's an actual band that she plays under too or what, but it's basically an instrumental piano version of Underneath the Stars. So very beautiful, very lovely, and it really just kind of shows you what a great song and underrated song that one is. I won't gush too much about the actual Cure song too much because that's coming up on our 413 Dream review, and it's a real shining moment on that album, I think, and I don't want to totally disclose all my love for it right away because you got to make those count when we're talking about the later albums. So I'll hold off on gushing about Underneath the Stars in general, but just in a like solo piano way, I love the way the emotions come through and are playing, and it just sounds really nice to me as this instrumental, and I love the sound and the range of the piano so much. I mostly play guitar now, but I grew up playing piano. Initially learned everything the little I do know about music on piano, and so I don't know. I always have a soft spot for piano sounds. It's probably my most like easily listened to music, where I can just totally lose myself in it, and it's a very therapeutic instrument too. You can just kind of really just play for hours on end, whether you're writing or playing something or just dicking around. It's very calming for me, and it's one of the few things in this world that really puts me at ease and gets rid of my anxious nature. But yeah, I love it. It's so nice, and just to hear somebody play it this well, I wish I could play better. But it's just great the way she fucking owns it. And yeah, you can find her on YouTube. I felt a little creepy since it was a YouTube find, like going down a rabbit hole of like trying to figure out more information on her or what. But she is an actual performer. Went to school for music, and from what I could tell, it was from Ukraine, resides in Germany now, and did look like she had a couple shows popping up, so performs pretty regularly. And yeah, tons of covers on the page. I don't know if she's an official YouTube sensation or what, but lots of like heavier bands too. Like there's like Metallica covers and Iron Maiden and shit. So yeah, it does some cool kind of just interpretations on these like heavier rock songs, and yeah, it's worth checking out. So definitely go on over to our Facebook page too, where you can hear this particular song, and if you dig it, keep digging around some more. But yeah, she fucking owns it and seems like she's doing well with it. So here it is, Underneath the Stars. So I generally don't like to talk about my own music too much on the podcast. It sounds like I'm trying to push it or something, and but in this case it'd be even goofier that I did this without telling anybody on the Cure podcast, so I guess I'll tuck it in here at the end. But around the end of last year, I started to put together a compilation of my own covers of Cure covers, just to have a batch, just to put them together, really. And a bunch I'd realized I'd already recorded for this or that reason way back when, and I thought, if I put them all together, is there any kind of common thread? And I realized, oh yeah, I kind of have one from almost every album. And so I snagged the idea from the Meltdown show of Then to Now, and I realized if I have a cover from every official Cure album, that would be kind of rad. So I put together this covers album. I called it Kiss Me Dead. It's mostly acoustic, solo acoustic, just kind of demo versions. But yeah, so I put it all together, and it's a playlist. It's free for download on Bandcamp. So go on over if you're remotely interested and check it out. Like I said, most of them are just kind of done in the style that I do my home recording albums, where, some of them are just totally cranked out acoustic. Other ones, I tried to add some more layers as if I would if it was a song that I'd written. And so like I add a little melodica on M, some pan delay on the piano of a cover of Sugar Girl, and I mix that in over some other atmospheric stuff. So a lot of that, and it's all with the idea that, like, obviously it's a Cure cover. It's kind of stupid to mess with an already perfect song, but it's just too fun to not do from time to time, and fun to kind of imagine how I would record this song in my very lo-fi indie way that I would do my own recordings if I had written one of these genius Cure songs. So, and I think it works in that aspect. So I was kind of happy with the outcome. Otherwise, I would have just put it out there and never mentioned it. But I think it's kind of fun to listen to. So it might be worth checking out. And it's free. Like I said, it's up there. I put a link to it on the Facebook page too. So, be kind, but check it out. Let me know what you think. There's 13 tracks on there, and then I tacked on that version of A Night Like This that I'd done for a previous episode. So anyway, go check it out and let me know what you think. But it's a Cure cover, so it technically fits in this theme of this episode. And I don't know what else to say other than subscribe on iTunes to the podcast. Find us on Instagram as the Holy Hour Podcast. And, you could talk to us on Facebook page, or just check out all the links I previously mentioned on the Holy Hour Facebook page, or email me directly at gavinconner@gmail.com. More importantly, go buy some damn t-shirts at 17secondshirts.bigcartel.com. That's Chaz's site. And if there aren't any currently up there for pre-order, just keep your eyes peeled. There's going to be a lot of cool Disintegration stuff coming up this year, 2019, the 30th anniversary of Disintegration. And your boy Chaz is on it. So go to his Instagram, 17_seconds, to really catch first wind of anything that pops up, because you're going to want to jump on those fast as the pre-orders come up. And if you want to find some Arusha fanzines and countless other cool gifts, remixgifts.com is your place. So go check it out over there. And, until next time, I'm going to play out with one of my hit cover songs from Kiss Me Dead, the hit cover album by yours truly. And we'll catch you next week with a more official episode. Not sure which one it'll be yet, but it'll be awesome. So we'll see you soon. Talk hard.